Hello, my name is Josephine. I'm an occupational therapist based in the south of France, and this is our third wellbeing invitation. So, my work within the Wellbeing Atelier is the use of meaningful activity as a way of supporting people to overcome life's barriers. And this is a monthly invitation, a prescription of activities to support you to cultivate making small changes within your days that can potentially improve your health and well-being. As how we spend our moments is how we spend our days, which is how we will live our lives. So it's a simple occupational therapy inspired prescription of activity intended to support well-being that you are invited to spend as little or as often as you like on. And around here I've dotted a few of the activities that I like to engage in. So it's August, and as many of you will be aware, France mostly stops and everyone takes their yearly holiday. It's a fantastic time to go and visit the museums in Paris, as the Parisians aren't there. But not everybody has the luxury of getting away from it all. So this month we're going to take a little bit of a break from ourselves and our endless to-do lists, and we'll explore doing as little as possible over the next month. So this month's wellbeing invitation is to practice doing nothing. And I'm thinking of sort of summer holidays 1992, and I'm in my childhood bedroom. We've come on holiday to England, and yeah, I'm really getting a sense of being able to embody this sense of boredom. Where time felt like an eternity. I can really visualise myself looking out of this window thinking, when is this going to end? And actually I would like to be back at school now. I'm so bored. And receiving perhaps the responses of, you could go and clean the bathroom, Josephine, or maybe go and play with the traffic. Just my parents. Anyway, so doing nothing. And we'll go into some of the science behind this as I go through, but we'll go into a lot more detail when we've actually taken part in the challenge. Well, not the challenge, taken part in the wellbeing invitation. While being busy may positively impact your self-esteem, if you are so busy that you're not able to practice self-care, spend time with loved ones, or enjoy your free time, how many of us does that resonate with? That when we do get our free time, we spend the whole time worrying about all the other things that need doing. So anyway, being overbooked can actually have a harmful effect on your overall well-being. And this month it's a challenge to shift your priorities and to disconnect from unnecessary obligations and give yourself some time to rest, because you can potentially massively boost your quality of life. We need to be bored. And this is a poem that inspired me for this month. What is this life if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare, no time to stand beneath the boughs and stare as long as sheep or cows, no time to see when woods we pass, where squirrels hide their nuts in grass, no time to see in broad daylight streams full of stars like skies at night. No time to turn at beauty's glance and watch her feet, how they can dance. No time to wait till her mouth can enrich that smile her eyes began. A poor life this, if full of care, we have no time to stand and stare. So putting to one side what we can and resting and standing and staring, as the poem by William Henry Davis there suggests, it brings about an opportunity to observe our daily lives, the time pressures that we put upon ourselves, be it physical, mental, emotional, those things like I must do 10,000 steps, I must finish that book, I must sort out my whole website, and it all needs to be done so that I can relax. But actually what happens is we then end up adding more things to the list. So we're going to try not to do so many things. So this is the prescription of activities, and it's an invitation to be engaged in as often or as little as required. So the first one I set is to move all self-set deadlines to the beginning of September. So having a look through your diary and moving anything you can to next month. So for me, I've written a list at the beginning of September with all of the things that I've had on my list for months, some of them. And 4 more weeks is going to do no harm if I haven't sorted out my website or put all the clothes on Vinted that I need to, or finished that book for sessions that I'm starting in February. I mean, just to give myself a holiday from it, and anything that pops up as I go along, which I'll think of, I'm just going to add, okay, that can be for September. I put away things. I put before I left. I put away the books that I haven't finished, the tasks that I haven't done. I haven't brought them with me, which is something that I can have a tendency to do. Oh, I'll get that done when I'm on holiday. When it's just not going to be possible. I want to enjoy being with my family and be present with my time here. So we're going to look at everything we've left in September. Okay, so don't worry about it in that respect. We'll have a look at some skills for managing these to-do lists in as part of the September Wellbeing Atelier. So number 2, switch off. Use your telephone as a telephone. So we know our smartphones are very clever, but sadly they're reducing our cognitive capacity. They constantly draw our attention away. And we know that we shouldn't be on them as much as we are, but we do very little about it. So this month, I am inviting you to use your phone as a phone for calls and text messages. There's lots of leeway within that. And here are some ways of doing that. So you could delete apps such as email and social media. You could remove the data function, so it limits you to it being a simple telephone whilst you're out and about. And you could dig out that old mobile phone, remove your SIM and use your smartphone as computer time. So it's designated, rather than it being something that you accidentally fall into whilst waiting for something. You designate the time that you have on it as computer time in whatever capacity you can. And all of these resources are on the website. So that's that'll be there for you underneath this video, or I'll link it in the YouTube description. Okay, and then thirdly, sitting quietly each day for 5 minutes. So I'm going to encourage you to simply sit and do nothing, not even drinking a cup of tea. You don't need to be sat in a particular way. It doesn't need to be a meditation posture. It's simply sitting and being an impartial witness to yourself, observing where your mind wanders to. And if you want to add a little extra to that, you could perhaps write where your mind went to, just some bullet point sentences, for example. It's not for analysing. Again, this is something that we're going to look at in September if you wish. Now, what are the benefits of this? So the side effects that you may experience are improvements within your creativity, your mental clarity, and your nervous system may feel more balanced. We are starving for stillness and silence in our culture. There is noise and chaos everywhere, and the world is not going to slow down and not going to get less noisy simply because we don't want it to. We have to commit to taking time to pause and to appreciate taking a break, that this will settle and soothe. It promotes relaxation. A break from the noise of our routines can refresh and re-energize. Stepping away from busyness and into quietness gives our nervous system a chance to regain balance. And it gets us an opportunity to be able to explore in September our priorities and what's important, what we were able to leave and what we weren't. So there was a study that I thought that was quite interesting, where they looked at boredom-inducing tasks, and it showed that those who did a boredom-inducing task performed better on an idea-generating task than peers who first completed an interesting craft activity. Now, the task was to come up with excuses for being late that wouldn't make somebody look bad. And the bored people outperformed the artists, both in terms of idea quantity and quality, as ranked by objective outsiders, who assigned uniqueness scores to each one. thought that was rather fun. So yeah, so by being bored, we can become more creative. So that's your wellbeing invitation, is to practice doing nothing. You can say no. You don't have to do them all. You can just try a couple out. You don't have to do it for the whole month. You could maybe do a couple of days, maybe a few weekends, maybe picking a few days a month. They're simple, but they're not easy, and they're uncomfortable. Sitting with ourselves without things to do isn't easy, and we're not used to it anymore. And I think we're losing out because of it. So that's why I've introduced it for this month, and August seems like the perfect time to do it. So I think we're going to learn a lot from this one, and we'll be back at the end of the month for a review. And we'll have a look a little bit more, some more of the supporting evidence to prepare us to get ready for that back to school feeling in September, for that the next wellbeing invitation, where we prepare ourselves for the transitions into autumn. But right now it's summer. It's a holiday season, so even if you're not going away, this is an opportunity to take a break from some of the routines and habits that we've gotten into, that perhaps if we stepped away from, we could be a bit wiser about whether we reintroduce them. So do let me know how you get on via email, because I'm going to be taking a break from social media over August. I'll be checking my emails on Mondays and Fridays if you've got any questions or suggestions. And also I'll be opening up bookings again for individual sessions from September. So do get in touch if you would like to be added to the waiting list for those sessions. Within an individual wellbeing atelier, we can explore things in a lot more depth, and I can create tailor-made packages for you around activities and interventions. So if that appeals, do let me know. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of the month. Take care. Have a great August.